Is it going to be stronger than a CertiFlat or equivalent? I don't know. Let's find out. It's already flatter than that CertiFlat. Was that? Hey everybody. I got this stuff set up. Let me take you through what we did and get going on this project. All right, I've got both of these sides all set up. And like I said, I got pretty much everything level. They're level end to end and they're level with each other. So here's the first end. So I'm gonna do that on the ends now, and then I'll put the angle iron in between all the way down. I'm about to square it. It's really close, but I'm about to square. All my measurements work out, so it should be really, really close. But I'm probably going to wait till I get the other end on, and then I've only got one tack on everything. So it's pretty fluid, but I'm going to keep my clamps on it. And then I want to square this end, and then obviously I need to square the top. So this is what I did here to line these up, because this is not, you know, exactly like a machine surface or anything. So to get to where everything is all level with each other, I made sure that both these sets of legs are perfectly level, or as close to level as I can get them. And then this is how I'm setting the ends. So as you can probably see, that's just about as level as my eye can possibly make it. And we are is pretty much perfect as I think we're going to get. So that's the best way I see to do that. Yeah, obviously if I had an even bigger table that I could set this on upside down, yeah, obviously that would be great, but then I'd be in the same issue as the CertiFlat. I don't have that, so most people are not gonna have that. I do have this table, but it is not flat. Like, even to my standards, it's not flat. Anyway, my point is, it's not flat. Most people don't have a second table, so this is how I'm doing it. Yeah, so I did a lot without you guys. My apologies, but I'll sit and explain it real quick. So here's the progress we're at. Nothing is welded together. Everything is tacked right now, just to make sure everything's good to go. What you guys haven't seen, and it's a big change from my original plan, is you'll notice this is a piece of tube. Anybody that's followed this series knows that I wanted to use all this angle so that this would give it a contact point that would not interfere with the hole on the table. So everything you see that will contact the table is 3/8 angle, except this. I got to going on it, and I cut that far one and this one. Put my glove down. I cut those two pieces out, and I'm like, you know what? For one, honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, it was all my OCD. I could not stand to have one face this way, that one face this way, and then what am I going to do with that one? So stupid. I get it. But it was crazy for my OCD. But the more I sat and thought about it, the more I realized that actually this is probably going to be a really good idea. This is a 4x2 quarter wall tube. It's probably going to be a good idea to have this here because, again, if you guys have followed the series, you know that that piece of steel that I got for the tabletop does have a big arc in it because of just the nature of what it is. It's that a little bit higher grade steel. It comes off a coil. Maybe everything does. I don't know, but it's a little bit harder. It's probably going to be a little bit of an effort to straighten it. But anyway, so I'm going to be really tugging down on this, clamping down. So this was probably a better move. All I have to do is there is going to be holes that land right on the center of this. Reminder, none of these other places will land in a hole. I have this all drawn up on CAD. Everything else misses a set of holes. I did not want to have to drill a bunch of holes through it. You know, if I made this all out of tube with only a 2-inch spacing on everything, I would have had to drill holes in all over the place. I didn't want to do that. So I will have to drill holes through this. There is a set of holes that runs right down the middle of this. That's it. That's the only place I have to do it. If I did it out of the angle iron, not only would my OCD be killing me that one would be going the wrong way, but then I would have to be, so this set of holes is the middle of the table. I would either have to be on this side of it or this side of it. And that was just going to bug the crap out of me. Anyway, there you are. There's everything. This is all 4x3 3/8. 4x3 3/8. 2x3, or I guess 3x2. I'm sorry, I'm saying that backwards. 3/8. That was just one full stick. I cut down into all those pieces. That is honestly, mostly, I'm going to tie it in down here with a little piece of 3/4 bar. Honestly, this is just to keep this angle from twisting on all these ends and give some more things to clamp down to in the middle. But ideally, that's what it's for, is so this angle, because that is the one drawback of angle, is it can twist. These side tubes are not going to have that ability, I don't believe, because I took the time to actually notch them in, just like I did here, and this is not an oops. I did that for a drain hole, so don't get me on that. That's not an oops. I don't believe these side rails will have the ability to twist because of this and that and that. So we're good there. That should keep that one from twisting. This should help this one from twisting. These ones could twist, but they're very short. I don't think they're going to have that issue. And they're going to be welded in both ends. Obviously, the tube will be fine. I think we're going to be golden. See the ratchet strap? One over here. I did have to square it this way, just a touch. But I did that before I started putting all this in. So basically my legs are level like they should be. Everything is dead level this way and this way. So I think we're really good. And then after all that, I was really strategic about how I welded everything. Well, I haven't welded it yet, but how I tacked everything. And I was out of square this long way here. I was out of square by about a little less than 1/8 of an inch. Which honestly to me, over 10 feet with freaking rough, mill scale, rough stock, angle iron, I thought was pretty good. But I was very strategic about how I welded it, about how, it's going to pull and move. Again, I haven't fully welded it yet, but when I started tacking it, and it's actually dead square right now. So it's sitting here how it should. I use these to get it level. Everything is not sitting on the feet right now. That is going to come here real soon. These are just here because it was easier to level it with these adjustable pipe stands. So they're on all four corners. But it is, right now it is level, it is square, it is good to go. Now that I've got so much meat in here and a bunch of tacks, I don't think it'll move. I am going to start welding it now. I'm going to work from the middle out. And I'm going to move around, even though this is big old 3/8 plate or 3/8 whatever, except that center is quarter, but it's tubing. Everything else is 3/8. I don't think things are going to move very much, but do not have full intentions of like fully welding everything. I'm sure there's some purists on here that are probably going to just kill me for that. But like this, I do not fully intend to weld that out all the way around, especially on the back side. I don't see a need for it. This is not like bouncing down the road. It's not, there's lots of scenarios that come up with, but it's not doing any of that. It is simply a table. The most it has to do is it has to hold up to me sucking down that tabletop and then stay there. And yeah, if I move it, it needs to stay square, but it's not like I'm just going to leave it as all tacks. But I just don't see a reason I'm going to do quite a bit of welding in these corners with these tubes. I'm going to weld a considerable amount of this, and on these bigger bars. But all these, they're going to get just probably a little 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch bead there, little bead there, same over there, maybe one little bead on the back side down at the bottom corner. Like, that's it. I am completely self-taught, so I'm sure, and I realize that there's probably reasons I should fully weld it, but common sense is telling me that all that's going to do is give it a chance to heat up and move around and just, ugh. I don't want to do that. I've got it so nice right now. I don't want to see that, and I just really don't feel like it needs it. And there is, you can kind of see, I got my bolts on the bottoms. I think I videoed that in the last video, I hope. I'm pretty sure, maybe not, don't remember, to be completely honest with you. But those are those plates that I had. Yeah, I did, because those are those plates that I went and machined at Howard's. Got those welded in, those went in really nice. Got those plates on there. Bolts are all in there, everything works perfect. I will be lowering those down and getting it off these pipe stands when I go to put the tabletop on, because it's going to add a ton of weight. So, and then you can see what I did with the bottom. I don't know if anybody remembers my original design, but I did modify it a little bit. This was going to be also angle. If you notice, all of those are all angle iron. The 3 right here face that way. Those 3 face this way. That's just how OCD I am. These were supposed to be angle out here, but I just couldn't bring myself to it. I had a spare piece of 2-inch tube. So I cut a piece of 2-inch tube for both ends. And yeah, so I'm going to get a sheet of 3/4 by number 9, which is basically 1/8 inch flattened expanded metal. And I'm going to put that on it. They have 4x10 sheets at my local steel supplier. This is a little less than 4 and a little less than 10, obviously, so it should work perfect. And I'm going to lay that in there. Those are all 2-inch by 1.5 inch, 3/16 I believe, angle. For all those, they're about 15.5 inches on center, 15 3/8 I think it is. It's just what it worked out to evenly, which really is good for my soul. So there's where we are at. I'm going to start welding right now. And here soon, we will, probably in this video, we will get the tabletop out of the container. And actually, I'll go show you that for anybody that hasn't seen that video. I'll go show that guy to you. And we'll get started on cleaning it up and getting it set on here. There she be. So that is a 50-inch by 118-inch tabletop. If you did not see that a couple of videos ago, go check that out. I went to had a local laser cutter cut that out. It is 1/2 inch thick, and it is not your normal A36. It is a A572 grade 50, which is usually what you use. Well, I mean, you can use different things, but a lot of like buckets, you know, tractor buckets and things like that are made out of that sort of stuff. It's definitely better than A36. It's not nothing like AR plate or anything, but it's a little bit stouter, stronger, higher tensile strength, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a metallurgist. I'm sure I'm probably wrong on some of those things, but a little bit of rust on the back, which is fine. And then the dross from the holes and everything. This was laser cut. There is quite a bit of dross. I'm assuming that's because of the grade of the steel, but which is all good. And then I got a nice countersink. I'm going to just do his light chamfer on all the holes, which I'm sure will take quite a long while. Also, you guys drop a comment below. I've got a project coming up. I got a brand new pickup that I picked up here a while back, and I've got a whole handmade headache rack designed out. It's not a mock of anybody's design. It's completely out of my head. Let me know if you guys want to see that videoed. I'm already collecting material for it. I'd like to get it built here pretty quick. And then I'll probably have it powder coated. I kind of thought about having it rhino lined. Well, not rhino lining, but bed lined. I had the pickup bed lined, and I really liked what they did. It's a local company. I was thinking about it, but anyway, if you guys want to see that, comment below. All right, tell me what you guys think. I think I did a decent job of getting her flat. She's pretty, I know it's hard to tell on camera, but she's pretty dang flat. And honestly, it was an oops at the beginning. That center bar is just slightly, I'm talking less than a 1/16 lower than the 2 side rails. And I was getting pissed off about it, and I was going to figure out how I was going to raise it up and hold it while I got it perfect and welded it. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, you know what, maybe that's a good idea to leave it like that, because the center of that tabletop in the center is bowed up, and I'm going to have to be sucking it down. Maybe it'll be good if that's just a tiny bit low. So then what that equated to is now it kind of comes across and dips. I mean, we're talking, guys, we're talking tiny, tiny bits. It's nothing. Obviously, you really couldn't even tell on the camera, I don't think. It just comes across and ever so slightly dips to the center, which then, because how I put these on there was I put a piece on top of them and laid it there and just clamped it to it. So now these kind of follow that. They go across and then dip just slightly into the center and come back out. And I think it's actually going to work out really, really well. Okay, that was interesting. So probably noticed that was a really short time lapse. I ran out of wire. I don't have any more, so I have to go get some. I think it's too late now to go get some. I'll have to check. But I will probably insert the clip. I got ready to talk to you guys, and all of a sudden, kaboom! Like a tack popped loose. I think I found which tack it was. I don't think it's anything super important, but I'm not welding very much. I'll show you guys. That's all I'm doing. Just little bits. Where's another one? There's one in here. Just little bits is all I'm doing. It has enough heat that I think I found it after I searched over the whole table. I think that tack right there, I think that's the one that popped loose. I did do a weld right there behind it. I can't really see anything else, nothing important anyway. But that just drives home my point of I don't think you need to go crazy. So anyway, I guess I'll go get some wire and we'll come back. All right, we got a fresh roll of wire. I don't know, it's just whatever the local welding shop has. It's just the R70S6035. So I got a fresh roll of wire. Let's get back to welding. Probably can't really see it, but like I did there, and then I moved over and switched to the bottom. So that one's at the top. So I did the bottom here, top there, and then top there, bottom there. You see what I'm saying? So I went down the center, and then I did like that corner, and then there, and then here, and then there, and then there. And then I slipped to the other side, and I went whatever I didn't do, I opposed over there and went down the center again. And then I started in that corner, went there, there, there. And they're not fully welded, as you can see. I've only done, you know, short stints everywhere. I don't even, oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, they're just short stints. Again, I see zero reason to like fully weld this thing out. You know, I'm going to weld quite a bit here in the corners, just because that's where all the weight is bearing. But especially when I get down to that little bit lighter stuff, like I think that's the 2-inch tube is 3/16, so those are 3/16. I see zero reason to pour a buttload of heat into them. So, like I said, if I didn't have to suck the table down against this, I would have probably just left it with some really good tacks everywhere. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, WTF, but I just don't see the reason in pouring heat into it and getting it all twisty. But because I got to suck the table down, I want everything to hold good. I am going to stitch everywhere. Everything will have good 2 or 3 stitches on it. But like these little guys, I plan to have one there and one there. And then there's one in the bottom lower corner. Oh, that's hot. And then I'll probably have a little one up here. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Same thing on this side, you know. These, I'm going to have one here, probably a little bit in the corner here, one here, and then that one right there. That's it. I'll probably actually, instead of doing that, I'll do one here in this inside corner here. But I see no reason to go crazy. So comment down below what you think. If you're a firm believer, especially with 3/8, if you would basically weld it out solid. Like these corners, I originally designed it so you could fill that all in and weld that out solid, but that's just going to be such a heap of weld. I'm going to do a stitch there, stitch at the bottom, done. All right, once again, guys, sorry, I did a little bit without filming for you guys. I don't have a good way to set up like action shots right now, and I get to working and just doing things, so I apologize for that. I'll get better at that. It's welded. If you'll notice, 2 there, 2 there, looks like 3 there. There's a few. These are mostly tacks. That's a tack, that's a tack, that's a tack. Weld, a little bit there, same kind of thing there. You see what I'm saying though? If you saw my previous video, I just didn't. There's no reason to go crazy to me. And it is sitting on its own weight now, at least on this end. That end, I just haven't taken the jacks out. And you'll see I did get the expanded metal cut. notched it around the corners there. So it is in there in one piece, and I will weld it down later. I'm just kind of anxious. I want to get this on there. So there she is, and I have made an executive decision that goes against everything I've said in all these previous videos. So you can go ahead and call me out on it. That's okay. I'm going to put it on there. As you can see the bow in it. I think you can see that in amongst all my crap in the back. I'm going to put it on this direction. Yes, this bottom side has that nice, I don't know how well you can see that, has that nice, it's almost, to me, it's just a mill scale is all it is, but it almost feels like that dragon scale stuff, like what a Fireball has. But after working on this side of it and cleaning it up, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's not a good one. Let me find a good one. There, you can kind of see it on that one. See how it's chipping right there? So obviously this has a mill scale, which that's, fine. But this feels really thin compared to that bottom side. So what the conclusion I came to is when I get something on the table that I have to grind off or whatever, I'm afraid that scale is just going to chip, and then it's going to be like this really, not only ugly, but it's going to be kind of rough, and I don't think I want that. Like I said, this side feels really pretty thin, so I think it'll be okay when that happens. But what also led me to that is not everybody, the laser cutter that I bought this from, and some other people have told me to do it the other way, where the crown is up. I don't have anything super logical, I guess, that tells me that, but I just don't think that that's going to work that well. Okay, that's kind of the issue I ran into with the fab block when I did it, which again, if anybody's watched that video, I admit, I'm sure most of the issues are probably my fault. I get that. But that was the issue I ran into with that, is I couldn't get the center sucked down right. And yeah, that's probably a lack of skill, maybe, I don't know, just a lack of tools, a lack of something. But nonetheless, I feel like even though I've made an extremely strong frame, I'm going to be sitting there trying to suck it down with bolts and clamps and just whatever. I just don't think it's going to go that way. I think I could have made it happen, I'm sure, because of my strong frame. Where with the fab block, the frame is not strong by itself, which again, I'm not bashing that whole deal. That's just its design, and I get that. The frame, it all works together to make one strong table. It's not, no part of that thing is strong independently. So where this is 1/2 inch pretty strong. That is, you could drive a truck over that. That is very strong. Anyway, so I think I'm going to do it this direction, because I've got that big center bar right there, piece of tube, 1/4 inch wall, 2x4 tube. It's a nice big center bar and all these crossbars. So I think I want to set this on there, center it, and then just start squeezing it down, kind of like a cylinder head. Anybody's a mechanic out there? Start from the center, work my way out to the edges, and then down each way. And I really just think it's going to go better. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with it. Also, I realized very quickly I am not a machinist. You probably can't really see it, but these holes, I tried to chamfer them with this bit. It is a 90-degree, 1-inch, 90-degree high-speed steel 6 flute, which I'm sure probably the high-speed steel is my issue. Nonetheless, when I tell you guys this is a little bit higher grade of steel, I ain't kidding. And then also, I'm sure that the laser kind of work hardened those holes. It is hard. That freaking chamfer, the countersink, it just bounced. It didn't hardly, I wailed, leaned on the drill, and that's all the more chamfer I could get. So I basically just went through, sanded the whole top, because this side had the flash rust on it. So I sanded it all down. It still needs some more, but that's okay. And then just kind of ran a grinder, Yeah, it took a while. It took a few hours. Just kind of around these holes, and that's just where I'm going to leave it. I can run my hand across it and not, catch anything. It's just not going to have the pretty chamfers, because maybe someday, but right now I don't have the tools for that. So that's where we're at. I am ready to rig this up to lift it and move a bunch of this crap out of the way and set it on there. So we'll get to it. All right, there it is. It is on there. Again, I know I missed a few spots in my filming, but you guys saw us flying it in here at the tractor and actually set it down kind of by eye and pushed and pulled just a little bit, and we've got her. So what I did was, I put a mark on the frame and I put a mark on the table in the dead center of both. I don't really care what the measurement is. I just did dead center of both. And you can see those are lined up. I did the same thing on that side. And then I made the frame to go between these two sets of holes. There's there's 2 inches between this plane and this plane. So it's on the 1 inch mark to center, but that's 3/8. This is 3/8 angle. So my measurement from this angle to this face is 2 inches minus 3/16, which is half of this plate. Hopefully that makes sense. And we are like dead perfect. An inch and what is that? An inch and 13/16 on both sides. So we're dead square. Both of my centers are lined up perfect. And all I have done nothing else. I've spent about 5 minutes here. All I've done is put these 4 clamps. You can just barely see there's 2 right there, 2 right here, because remember, we changed our plan. This was bowed this way, and you can clearly see that it's bowed this way, okay, which is fine. But all I've done is just clamp it down until it basically stops. And you can see right in the center there, you can't see light through it. Over there you can. Right there you can't. That's all I've done. I've not fiddled with it. I don't know how to prove it to you for sure, but this piece of aluminum is as straight as my eye can tell. Okay, and this is what I've found is this is a 20 thousandths. I'll get rid of this one. A 20 thousandth shim. There's one little spot right here, and it just barely slips under there. But it won't slip under over here. It won't slip under here. I don't even think here you can't even get probably a 10 thousandths underneath there. So my point of that is yes, 20 thousandths is quite a ways out. I mean, if you want to be perfect, it needs to come down about 15 thousandths or so. But I haven't done anything. Okay, all I've done is just clamp it down flat to my frame that I built. That I built with a plastic Home Depot level. I mean, that's it. And again, I don't necessarily mean to bash them, but it's already flatter than, because I fully understand that most of that was my issue. So we won't worry about that, but it's already flatter than that CertiFlat was. That CertiFlat was like a 1/4 inch or more out on 4 feet. So yeah. Will it be flatter than my CertiFlat? Yeah, definitely. Will it be flatter than a perfectly put together CertiFlat? No, probably not. But it's definitely going to be flat enough for what I'm doing. So anyway, there it is, guys.